Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert Orfino and Jason Bible. We're from Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for joining us. We are about to embark on a little odyssey, heading out to the left coast, if you will.
What's the weather? I didn't even check.
It's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's pretty good.
I only brought one pair of shorts.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
I'm going to look right now. San Diego, it's 53.
Yeah.
Surfside's 56. Let's see here. Let me add.
It's going to be pretty good.
Los Angeles. It is 55 right now.
That's good. So we'll go up to the low 70s today.
Yeah, we'll get into the low 70s.
Sunny. Yeah.
Sunny, beautiful.
It'll be perfect. Yeah.
It'll be great. So,
and we're at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains there. We're staying in Altadena, north of Pasadena, unincorporated California. Big flippers market. 5 years ago, everything was just all perfect. Little 1,200 square foot houses that were just broke.
Oh,
just totally messed up. And
Yeah.
not able to go in there and flip. It was just perfect. Talking about flipping, I was speaking about that last night, and I grade Houston, Southeast Texas, as like a 2.5 out of 5, or 5 out of 10, for flipping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of what we've been talking about for 2 years now, as those $100,000 houses are now inching up into the $150,000 range, and the $150,000 houses are inching up into that $200,000 range, and the 200 ones are hitting up the medium at $250,000. And so the inventory where you would want it to buy that $180,000, you want to buy a house for $180,000, you want it to put $50,000 in, be it $230,000 and sell for $300,000, those houses have now popped up to $240,000, $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that market probably understands that they're $240,000, $250,000. It's making those ones harder to find, whereas there's more inventory in that 150 area, but that's the no man's land.
Right.
Right? So if you buy something for $150, you put in $30, it's really hard to get $230,000 out of it, $240,000.
Yeah.
Right? It's still a sub $200,000 house. So, but I think that changes in about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
When all these houses that we're talking about are now pushed into the $250,000, $300,000 range, then you'll be going and running to Independence Heights and buying a house for $150,000, putting your $40,000 in, putting it on the market for $289,000 and making your money.
Yeah, I'm seeing right now, it's interesting, Curtis came over to the house yesterday, and we were looking at Westbury, and Westbury, Meyerland,
Yeah.
I still think there's a real good play there. I was looking at more stuff last night and this morning, and I still think there's a little bit of a play there. I looked at a house, 20,000 square foot lot, 5,200 square foot one story.
Wow.
Corner lot, beautiful trees. I think they want $450,000 for it. Now the rehab is going to be $200,000 easy, right? But I mean, inside the loop,
Nice.
it's just beautiful place, right? And they can't require all of them to be lifted. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
I really want to go down that rabbit hole at some point. But in any case, I'm also looking at. We were looking at some houses over on the west side of town where I've got some inventory over there that I bought, and we're Airbnb or renting, that sort of thing. And one of the things I noticed is there's a lull in the marketplace between $140,000 and $180,000, and that's exactly what it is. Some of these houses need a lot of work, and you just can't get them cheap enough to flip them because they need so much work because they've either been impacted by storm or they've just been degraded over the last 10, 15 years, and so you're right, and they need to kind of push that $200,000 of
Kind of bust through that. Yeah.
You got it starts at $200,000, and once you bust through that, then it really starts making sense on the flip side.
Right, and those houses are going to be obtainable.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you're still going to have working class neighborhoods where they're going to start to change over into a better working class neighborhood. Right, and so I think those are like Texas City. And we started looking at Texas City 2 years ago. Everything was on sale between $60,000 and $80,000.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's literally 3 houses below
probably
$100,000.
Yeah, go look at it. I would love, I need to talk to AG. I would love for him to build a heat map. If AG, if you're listening, I know you listen to the show from time to time, or somebody could tag AG right now and just tag them in this segment, that'd be great. I would love for AG over at Real Acquisitions if they could build a heat map.
Yeah.
And the heat map to show over the last 5 years the change in concentration of houses below 100 grand. Because it would be just fascinating to see the growth from, because literally it would be like some areas of town would be dark red, right? Lots of houses below 100 grand. And then it turns from, red to like blue to purple to green to gray to white, and there's nothing there anymore. But to see that transition below $100,000 over the last 5 years would be pretty incredible.
So we'll probably miss it because I think it'll come back in about 2.5 years. I think there's probably 30 months is fair. So we'll miss it. I don't think we'll be flipping Texas City in 2023. But folks should be aware of that.
Yeah.
Right. That's where it's going. So which means that we're still finding a lot of good deals under 200,000 for buying and holding.
Yes.
And we just put an offer on a triplex for 180.
Yeah.
Right. I think gross revenue will be like $2,500.
Yeah, I think 2,700, and if I remember looking at it, it should get us close to $1,000 a month in gross cash, in net cash.
Yeah.
So you're out of pocket.
That's where you want to be.
30, 35 grand. It brings in 12 grand a month. I mean,
it goes right to
12
the
grand
fund.
a year. Yeah. Hard to screw that up, right?
Yeah. So I'm just thinking about the marketplace. I think we're still a 4 out of 5. 8 out of 10 for buying and holding. And we're going to California where it's a 0 out of 5, a 0 out of 5 for flipping and wholesaling, all that.
Yeah.
No deals there at all. So it'll be interesting because I'm gonna bring out a case study sheet that just shows Texas City, our Texas City house. We're not gonna change a little bit, and on the back we'll have our contact information if people want to get a hold of us. But if you're a real estate investor, you go where the deals are, right? Right. If you're a lender, then you can kind of lend anywhere in the country. But the folks in California complain about can't find deals.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Right, but that's what Texas is for. That's what Raleigh-Durham is for. That's what Florida is for.
Yeah,
they've got to go.
Well, that's Miami-Dade's a great example. Miami-Dade, Boston, certain parts of New York, Seattle, Portland, SoCal. I'd even put Austin into this bucket.
Sure, I would too.
Where the only time, Chicago, the only time you're going to make money in those markets is coming out of the downturn.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, there's got to be a crash. That's the only way you make money in those markets is a crash. Or as a real estate agent, right? You're listing houses and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, you've got to follow the crash. And we're 10 years into a recovery in SoCal, and I'm not buying the house. I really want a house in Coronado Island, and I'm not paying 1.3 for it.
Well, we're going to see Bruce Norris tonight or Thursday night. He'll be definitely there tomorrow. And I have one question for him. When do I move back to California?
Yes, that's a great question.
That's all I want to know. When do I come back?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Robert and Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We will be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert and Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We started talking a little bit about goals. I did my goal webinar last night, and that was fun. I get a little excited about that.
You do a phenomenal webinar. I was telling everybody that on the Facebook Live this morning. Like, if you've not seen Rob do a webinar, it is spectacular.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And, a lot of people stayed all the way through the end. That's a real measure, right? Either that or they fell asleep. So.
Hold on, I'm putting a deal here on my calendar. I'm having lunch with James here at Tukey's, which I've never heard of before, but it looks legit.
Yeah, there you go.
He said, "Hey, where do you want to go?" I was like, "Some kind of seafood place down by you," and he just 2 minutes later sends it back.
So I know where it is. Yeah, on 146.
It's on Baybrook Boulevard in Seabrook. You probably drive right by it for our San Leon property.
Yep, I think I do. Yep.
So
I know the name.
I got that, and then it looks like I got a breakfast thing. Man, this is gonna go back to 17 for me. I'm gonna fatten up a little bit. It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, happy hour meetings.
We have a full kitchen in the office. I just bought more utensils and knives.
Real knives.
Real knives, so we can cut some things. I mean, I'm still using your utility blade to cut things.
That's funny.
So we'll be able to do that. And if I can just get 2 meals here, then I think we can get a lot of things under control. Anyway, talk about goals. That was fun. Setting some short-term, near-term, mid-term, long-term goals, getting those things moving. The key is to keep, I told everyone last night to take out their calendar, and you can do this too if you guys are tracking your progress. You want to track your progress and just set a reminder at the end of every month, make it a repeatable event, the last day of the month, the last Friday of the month, the last Monday of the month, whatever it is, last Saturday of the month. Make it an event where you're going to review your progress. And that's really, really critical. There's going to be times this year where no matter how good things are going, you're going to get distracted by life, you're going to lose 3 weeks, and the problem is when you lose 3 weeks, it's really hard to get back. If you just set a reminder at the end of every month, review your progress, and you just don't erase that event, let it repeat and repeat and repeat, that'll sort of kick your butt a little bit to kind of get back on track. And so I thought that was just a good little nugget for folks to do. Most folks are just trying to figure out a way to get out of the mundane. We broke down the hours. We showed them there's basically 20 hours a week. That's it. And, that 20 hours a week, you got to get your workouts in. You got to get your self-improvement in. You got to watch your learning videos. You got to make offers. I mean, there's not enough time, right?
No, there's not. Yeah. People think there's
enough.
80 hours a week, and they'll spend, so you got 20 hours a week to do real estate, and they'll spend 10 of that just cruising around MLS. I'm like, that's not real estate investing.
No, not at all. So, we went over that. That was fun. We have hit our goal. We're halfway through our 2020 goal already.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun yesterday, breaking down all that portfolio. We're getting a lot of responses. People want to buy some. People want to sell some for us and help us.
So we contracted an 88 house package,
right,
that we've been working on with a friend of ours, Chris Hopper, and it's gonna be fun. This is
looks like it jumped to 94 now.
Oh, they drew a couple more.
6 more, yeah.
Okay, so we'll contract the other 6, but so 94 houses. I had a conversation with one of our lenders last night when I was headed back. I'm gonna have a conference call with them today. Chris had a conversation with a lender of ours, which is they're good friends of ours too that we want to work with. But I think we're going to become. I've always wanted to become. Put it this way, I've always wanted to become the go-to company for selling packages.
Yeah.
And the reason I've always wanted to do that is because I know there are a lot of real estate investors out there that amass these packages of real estate, and then they're like, what do I do with them? I don't want to list all of them.
Right.
Because I don't want to deal with all the craziness from a real estate agent.
And you're stuck.
Yeah, and you're stuck, and you've got 10 houses in one neighborhood, and they only sell 5 every quarter.
Right.
So what am I going to do? I'm trying to 1031 into a hotel. I mean, it's all that stuff, right? So I was having a conversation with Alex over at Jet. He said, you know what's going to happen after you close this? I said, yeah, I'm going to start getting a lot of phone calls for packages. And he said, that is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll be happy to take it off your hands.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. So I guess this morning between that and the RV park and possibly the storage facility, we'll be easily over $15 million for the year to hit our $25 million goal.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of already looking at, well, what does the rest of the year look like? What's 2021 look like?
Right. I mean, can we get a couple of apartment complexes in that last 10 million? Right.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to double that money in 6 to 7 years. That would be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's after all this time and all this experience, right? It just comes on the table, and you get the raw turkey, and you know how to cut it up and cook it, right? It's like I know exactly what to do, right?
Yeah.
I took those lessons learned and you move forward on that. So that should be a pretty nice deal. I went over it again. Last night, again, there are folks that want to pull some pieces out. We'd be happy to talk to you about putting it into the fund, portion of it going into the fund, make the fund incredibly strong.
We're throwing 30 houses into the fund.
30 going into the fund.
So the fund is open.
Yes.
You know what? I need to send an email out. I'll put an email together, and I'll send an email out to everybody saying, hey guys, fund's back open because we got 30 houses we're about to slam into this.
Yeah, I had a nice little investor meeting yesterday, so it looks like, and he got his accreditation, so he's looking to move right in, starting in the next 2 weeks or so. So that's pretty exciting for us to get all this stuff moving, and syndication with the apartments. So there's a lot going on for us. People are always like, oh my God, I'm so amazed how much you do. It's just get good people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Identify where your holes are and fill the holes with good people.
Yeah.
Period. So that's very exciting for us. Those will hit some of our serious goals, and we're coming to California, and hopefully we're going to raise some money out there.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I don't know if we have anything planned Wednesday night, but we're on the wait list for the Stall House.
Oh, very good.
I tried my...
Very good.
I have been a sweet guy with those folks.
Oh, that's right.
They were really big fans. Y'all could just sneak us in.
Yeah.
So I've got that on the list. We'll see. She said, I'm going to email you. I'm like, look, we're not going to bring a car or anything. We're going to get Uber. We're going to get dropped off. We're just going to sneak in. So I said, just if you've got room for us, we'd love to see the sunset at the Stall House. So
I'd love to see that too. Remember, we're there till 4 at the event.
Okay.
What time is the sunset?
I don't know. I gotta look.
Sure, it's like 6 o'clock, 6:15.
Yeah. So that'll be a trip to get over that side of town, right?
Well, I don't want it to be too bad.
Okay.
Because we'll be already in Glendale, so it's actually right down to 5.
Okay. So, anyways, we'll see.
Yeah.
So if I can get that to happen this trip, great. If not, it'll happen next month.
We're gonna be back out there.
Yeah, we'll be back out there playing.
And then we got to figure out the radio station thing down there too.
Yes. We can broadcast. We can do shows from sister stations. We just gotta prep. We just gotta prep them up for it.
Yeah.
So we can go to the Salem network. I think we're on Salem there. I'm pretty sure, or we might be on iHeart. I can't remember.
Oh, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah,
they'll totally next time.
they'll totally let us use their studio. If they got
Yeah, I think we're going to California every other month, and we'll be up in New Jersey every other month, offsetting. So we'll be bouncing around from coast to coast on this stuff. So, but we're here in Texas. We're Southeast Texas. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We have a pretty big announcement coming out today, huh?
We do. I'm waiting for somebody's bio. That's the thing I'm
need
waiting
the
on.
bio.
So I know you're watching right now.
Yeah.
You got a homework assignment.
Need
Send me
the
the bio.
bio. So once that bio comes out, we have another influencer who's will be joining us. I think this will be.
This will be the one. I keep saying like this one would be a shocker.
They're
all shockers.
This will be a good shocker. Yeah, this will be a good one. And they'll be on. I believe we're going to do them on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
On Wednesday nights, I'll take a look at my notes, and then AC I believe is on Tuesday nights, and then if we get the other guy, it'll be Thursday nights. We're going to run best of on Friday, and then you and I will do a full show on Monday. Okay, with Robert and Jason here at Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back.
Welcome to the show, folks. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network, here on the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. Thanks for watching the show today, or listening to the show, depending on where you're at. Today I want to talk a little about goal setting, at least how I do it. I sent out an email last week about how I look at goals. And one of the things I find fascinating is, in the world of goal setting, a lot of people will tell you, this is kind of a Tony Robbins thing, you need to make a goal so big, so huge, that people will laugh at it. And that may be great from a motivational standpoint, but it's not practical. There's some stats out there that say that less than 5% of New Year's resolutions, or goals if you will, that are made at the beginning of the year make it through January. So the likelihood of success is diminished by 95%. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that we have these enormous goals, huge grandiose goals. We're going to take on the world. And what I think a lot of people don't recognize is that they overestimate what they can accomplish in 12 months and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. And that's a huge delta there, if you will. In 12 months, there's really only so much time. Rob had mentioned earlier in the earlier segment that you only have about 20 hours a week outside of your job, family, fitness, all that sort of stuff to really make a big change in your life, whether that's get into real estate or have better relationships, whatever that means to you. So the reality is that there's only a certain amount of hours in a day. However, can you take this year to work on 2 or 3 of those things as opposed to taking this year and trying to work on 5? So in this email, the other thing I said is, hey, look, one of the best goals that you could make this year if you're a real estate investor is buy 4 houses. Just buy 4. Now let's say you can't buy 4, maybe you just buy 1. And the way I like to look at goals like this is to say, hey, if I was already in the future, let's say we were 12 months away, we were in December of 2020, and I look back on the last 12 months, and I bought, let's say my goal was to buy 4 houses, but I only bought 2. Would my future self be happy with my performance. That's kind of the way I like to look at goals. I mean, sure, we'd all love to take on the world, and we all want to be billionaires and all that. That's great. But for most people, and that's going to be 99% of y'all that are listening to the show today, what are some goals, some easily achievable goals? Now, what happens if you set a goal too low, let's say to buy 4 houses this year, and you buy 4 in the first quarter? Guess what? We can amend those goals up. So when I started our house buying company back in 2013, our goal was to buy 6 houses from July to December. Well, we bought 7. Now, that's not bad, right? We bought 1 more house than we anticipated. The following year, 2014, I wanted to buy 50 houses. That was our goal. Let's buy 50 houses. We bought 67. Great. We met our goal and then we exceeded it. However, I can tell you if my goal was to buy 100 and I only bought 67, my mental space, if you will, would be a little bit different. I just wouldn't be as happy about it as I bought those 67. Even though 67 is greater than 50, and 67 is a great number, almost to 100, but not quite. But if my goal was 50 and I bought 67, it's time for celebration. If my goal was 100, I only bought 67, it's time to reevaluate. So I'm a big proponent of finding easily achievable goals. I know this time of year, everyone's on the weight loss kick, which is fantastic. Let's just do 1 meal a day. That's a good, healthy meal. Let's not try and completely change our diet and completely change our routines, right? Robin said, hey man, if I can do 2 meals a day here at the office, and we're at a small house here in inside the Loop in Houston, the Houston Heights, if y'all are familiar with where that is. And we've got, good chicken breasts in there. I made chicken breasts for everybody, including some folks that were over. I made lunch for everybody. There's like 3 of us over here. Made lunch for everybody. Rob was over here eating breakfast. He's probably going to grab something on the way out so he can make his flight. But he said, look, if I can do 2 good meals a day, I know that's going to have a positive impact on me long term. I'm the exact same way. I like to look at, hey, if I'm doing these certain things every day and I'm doing it every day, it's more than likely than not to get me to this goal, to get me to this next level. I know if I'm working out, I'll give you a great example of working out. Some folks will say, oh, Jason, I'm going to get ripped this year. Like I'm going to lose 70 pounds of fat in 8 months. And I'm like, how about this? Why don't you start off with a promise to yourself to walk your neighborhood for 45 minutes, 3 days a week? And they go, oh, well, that seems reasonable. Yeah, let's start there. Let's start it reasonable. The problem is that when you get these big, huge goals, the mountain looks so big, it's intimidating when you're trying to go up the first couple of steps, the first couple of, the hike that's the first couple of miles, and it's just absolutely morally defeating because you haven't even mastered the first couple of miles. We do, in my family, we're big cyclists. We do a bike ride every year. It's about 150 miles. They call it the MS 150. It's really 200 miles. It's about 100 miles each day. However, we don't go out and say, hey, we got to be able to conquer this goal day one. We need to be able to ride and crank out 100 miles on the first day of the training season. No, you start out simple. You do little rides around the neighborhood just to get kind of back in shape. You start doing 5-mile rides, 10, 15, 20. And what happens is, and this happens with financial goals, health goals, and everything else, your body and your mind begin to acclimate to this process. So you start knocking out 5 miles. Your body acclimates pretty quickly to that. Then you start doing 10, then 15, then 20, then 25. And here's the other amazing thing that happens. Not only do you become acclimated to the distance, you get faster over the same distance. So you go from 5 to 10 to 15. Well, now let's say you're doing 15 miles at a time. You're doing that faster than when you were doing your 5 miles at a time. So that's what happens. I put a post out this morning on our Facebook Live, or via Facebook Live, where I said, look, doing is winning. The more you do, the more you win. The more you do, the more you like it, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the more you do it, the more you like it, the better you get. It's this cycle that occurs over and over and over again. However, when people say things like, well, Jason, I'm going to buy 40 houses this year. Well, how many did you buy last year? 3? Well, how about we buy 6? Let's double it. You're going from 3 to 6. let's do that. You know, one of these other goals I hear is, especially around this time of year with all the, all of the goal setting and all the seminars, you'll get somebody that says, well, Jason, I want to make $1 million this year. I go, okay, well, how much did you make last year? I made 110. I'm like, okay, well, why don't we start with, let's make 110 in real estate. Or, this is one of the other goals I proposed, real estate business, that makes you 25 grand this year. And then once you figured out how to make 25 grand, then let's double that next year to make 50 grand. And then let's double that the following year to make 100. Now, if you're really talented and maybe you get a little lucky and you make $100,000 this year, great. Now let's double that goal for next year. But let's start out with the baby steps first. You don't have to run right out of the gate. In fact, if your expectation, which is really what a goal is, your expectation is to run right out of the gate, you may be really disappointed because you're going to fall pretty hard. So, guys, this is Jason Bible. I'm with the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Rob and I, my business partner, run a mastermind. If you guys are interested in that, you can send us a text at 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. We'd love to have you in our group. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next